Hello everyone. Good morning. The time's 0400 hours Indonesian time, local time. Vessel is right now at Indonesia Batam Anchorage. So I'll just take you for a small tour of the bridge where we have the equipments which we use for navigation. So I'm starting from the port side. When I say port side means I'm starting from the left hand side of the ship inside the bridge. Basic equipment actually. So this is what we have: the binoculars for long distance viewing. With this equipment we call as the SART, which is search and rescue transponder, which is used in case of distress. When a ship is in distress, we normally take this equipment called SART, SART, search and rescue transponder, by which we can इंटीमेट अदर शिप्स, दूसरे शिप्स को पता लगता है कि हमारे शिप डिस्ट्रेस में है बाय दिस इक्विपमेंट कॉल्ड सार्ट. सामने तो आपको ये शिप का जो आउटसाइड हिस्सा है ये क्रेन है और ये हेलीकॉप्टर लैंडिंग एरिया है जहाँ पे शिप्स का इमरजेंसीज में हेलीकॉप्टर लैंड कर सकता है. इसके लिए इसको एच मार्क किया जाता है. वैसे इसके अंदर इसको होल्ड बोलता है. यहाँ पे वी नॉर्मली लोड कार्गो. ठीक है, फाइन. सो लेट्स गेट बैक टू द अदर इक्विपमेंट्स. जैसे दिस इज द radar which we use for detecting ships a long distance. We call this the X-band radar. Working of this I will show you later on. Right now the radar equipment is off. It belongs to Furuno. Furuno is a Japanese company. Mostly all radars are made by this company called Furuno, very user friendly one. And then you have another radar which is also switched off. I can actually put it on. We have a power switch here and I put it on. It gets powered on, and like you see it's Japanese JRC, Japan Radio Corporation. It takes some time for it to start. I'll get back to it once the radar starts. This is the keyboard. It's like now you see it is just powering up. It requires 2 minutes and 38 seconds for it to start off. So let that be on. Let it be starting. This is what we call as the AIS, Automatic Identification System. This is a device model number S130 Alpha. In this you get to see all the ships in the area with the name. Like for example, there's one ship called North Moon. So you get all the details of that ship. जैसे ship का position, उसका जो details है वो कितने distance से है अपने से, और उसका speed क्या है, वो अपने को कितने पास से जाएगा. इसको TCPA CPA बोलता है, closest point of approach, and time to closest point of approach. ये सब दिखाता है इसमें. ये बहुत हैंडी इंस्ट्रूमेंट है. आजकल ये तो मैंडेटरी हो गया शिप्स पे, सारे शिप्स पे AIS. इसमें कुछ रेगुलेशंस है, इतना GRT के शिप्स पे तो ये कंपलसरी है. और ये एंटी कोल्यूशन इक्विपमेंट बोलते हैं इसे, यानी कि यू कैन कम्युनिकेट, सेंड मैसेजेस आल्सो फ्रॉम दिस. नाउ वी कम टू the autopilot. This is the autopilot by which we steer the ship in auto mode. This company is Tokimec, which is a very famous company. Here you have the settings, like you can steer in the manual mode. You can put it here, it goes into the auto mode. This is a non-follow-up mode, and this is a joystick mode. So you can steer by using, and mostly we use hand, and in the open sea when everything is fine we use the autopilot mode. And this is the heading which we set to steer the ship. Right now we are in a heading of 042, and we stand here and we steer the vessel or the ship in that direction. So that's the autopilot. Then as you come here you have several binoculars, and this is the telegraph. Let me put it in a layman's term, like the gear to adjust the speed. Right now it is finished with engine. That means the ship is completely stopped. Then you have, this means that the engine is also shut down completely. There is no plant running right now. So in case you need to start the ship, you have to first come to the standby mode. Then the engineers will work on the plant, and then we start moving ahead. Let's slow ahead, and it goes on half ahead. That's the forward mode, and then you have the reverse mode is dead slow ahead, slow, half. This is the reverse, like astern. Like if you see in the Titanic when the Titanic was about to hit a iceberg, they normally go in the reverse. So this is reverse in red. So it's called the telegraph. This is an old ship. So these is this around 40-year-old ship. So all these equipments are now modern ships. You don't get to see all this. This is a 40-year-old ship. So you can see this. I'm not naming the ships right now because I'm not authorized to name the ship. But this is what we call the telegraph. Then we have the pantry section where you normally have a coffee. This is the lighting panel. This is the navigational lights, green, red, and the mast lights, which we use for navigation. All this is the lighting panel. This is what we call as the echo sounder, which shows the depth. So what we do is we put this on like this, and then there are settings here for the draft, the dimmer section, the gain, and then we can see the depth. Like this is the stylus. इसको स्टाइलस बोलता है और ये डेप्थ मार्क करता है. ये कंपनी है JRC का. But right now we don't read it since then I put it off. This is called BANWAS. The BANWAS stands for Bridge Navigation Watch Alarm System, which is a requirement now in this equipment. Is such that जब कोई ऑफिसर ड्यूटी पे है तो इसका टाइमिंग सेट किया जाता है यहाँ पे, और ये लेज़र कंट्रोल्ड है. यानी कि सिंपल है कि ऑन ड्यूटी यू कैन नॉट स्लीप. सो एवरी 10 मिनट्स या 15 मिनट्स का सेटिंग होता है, और जब इसको कोई हिलता, देर इज़ नो मूवमेंट, उस टाइम पे अगर मूवमेंट नहीं है तो ये अलार्म बजता है. यानी कि कोई सो रहा है या कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है. सो यू हैव टू कीप मूविंग सो दैट दिस बनवास इज एक्टिवेटेड. और लेज़र से कटता है, और तो पता है कि ऑन ड्यूटी ऑफिसर इज़ अलर्ट. बेसिकली टू फॉर सेफ्टी and for collision avoidance, so that the officer is knowing what he's doing. So these are all European companies, you know, and these are all certification required for all these things. Then as you come inside, we have the clocks, and we have the aneroid barometer, which shows the pressure in the local area. This is a very important tool which we come to know whether the weather is good or bad. The higher the pressure, the better the weather. The lower the pressure, there is a chance of cyclone, or there is a chance that the weather can get bad. The low pressure is not very good. High pressure is always welcome. This is the fire alarm system. In case there's a fire somewhere on the ship, then we know exactly which area it is. There got zones here. Like steering gear means where the steering is of the ship, engine room. So we have to just acknowledge the alarm, locate where the fire is, and then the firefighting team will go to douse the flames and fire. I'm just giving you not everything in detail, just a short tour. I mean, this is what we call the Inmarsat-C, which we use for satellite communication to send messages from here to various places to the company. So this is connected via satellite. It's called the Inmarsat-C, and it's a very important tool. It's also, as I said, company is Furuno, which is a Japanese company. Mostly all the equipments are made in Japan and Norway, Germany. All these are specializing in equipments for ships. This is the keyboard for the equipment, and you have a printer here which prints all the messages. And then we come to the chart room. Now this is where we make the passage planning program. like in case you have to go from one place to another. This is what we use to make the passage plan, which is very important. These are, as I said, that this is an old ship. So normally we rely on these things which is called as the paper charts. And this is the position of the ship over here. Presently we are here. And then from there we have to, because like if you see, you have like on the main roads, even in the ocean you have separation zones. Like this is the traffic which is going towards China and all that. You take this one. This is the route which you have to take if you're coming towards India. So we call the westbound lane, and this arrows like you see here, it's called the eastbound lane. So this is the basics of navigation. You have to plan your route on these charts. This is the parallel loader. This is the divider which we have been using, but parallel loader is something which we use in the ships. And like again, this is a symbol on the chart which is called as a traffic separation zone. You cannot enter into this area. You are being watched and monitored by the VTS, that is Vessel Traffic Information System. So once you enter here, you can get a message or a warning. And you have to basically study the chart when you come on the ship or into the chart room to navigate. You have to understand everything. That's what navigation is all about. You have to study to become an officer. You just cannot become an officer. You have to study all these things, and that's how you get your license, and then you work on ships. All the long view of the chart room. Then we got a radio equipment room here, which is a restricted area. But here we have the ship's laptops and computers and all the radio equipments, which I'll have to get you make another video for that sometime later. First, I'm just giving you the basics of the bridge. This is the communication system. We have a telephone here to contact various places on the ship because ship is huge. And once again, you can see the forward of the ship. Right now it is night time, so you cannot see much. One very interesting fact is, if you see on this side, as I said, the left hand side, those lights in the far distance, that's Singapore. This is unique of being on ships. And if I take the camera onto the right hand side, there you see is Indonesia. So we are actually in between Singapore and Indonesia. Okay, so as I said, the times now, the local time in Indonesia is 4:10. These are all the analog equipments, old ship, where the speed and various factors, the wind speed direction, how much wind we have. So the old ship, as I said. So this is something called as the clear view screen. This is used during the rains. When there's a heavy rain, this wheel spins very fast, very high revolutions, very high RPM. So water doesn't stay on the glass, and you have clear visibility. That means there is no obstruction. This is called the clear view screen. Normally you have two on the ships, and then substituted by the wipers also, which is also used. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this small tour of the ship. I will be getting into details of the equipments later on, like how we program. Yes, one important thing is we have everybody must have heard the GPS. This is what we call as the GPS, Global Positioning System. A very handy tool. Yeah, and this is giving you the latitude, longitude, and the ship is now at anchor, यानी कि stationary है, तो speed इसका दिखा रहा है 0.1 knot. ये भी कंपनी जो है, ये भी GP39 इसका जो मॉडल है, ये भी फुरुनो का है. as I said, सब पुरानों का है यहाँ पे. So I hope you have found this video a little bit informative, not much details. So if you find it interesting, do like and subscribe to the channel Noella11. Enjoy the video, stay safe, stay healthy, take care.